Hi there. Welcome to our home. Today we're going to read a story for Story Time with Momma Grace. We're going to read two stories, actually. Two more stories about Tiger and Rabbit. So if you joined us last time, you got introduced to Tiger and Rabbit, and we did two stories about them. These are from the book, The Lion Storyteller Bedtime Book by Bob Hartman. And they're a collection of folk tales, and they're a lot of fun. And my favorite ones in here are about Tiger and Rabbit and all of their adventures. So here's Tiger. You remember him from last time. Those stories were really fun. If you didn't get a chance to hear those, you might want to go back and find those because they're a lot of fun. And we're going to do two more today. So are you ready? I'm going to get him all set and cozy. All right, he's ready. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. This story is called Tiger Gets Stuck. One day, quite by accident, Tiger stumbled across Rabbit's hidey hole. He wanted to roar for joy, but decided instead to keep very quiet and watch and wait for Rabbit to leave. When at last Rabbit hopped away into the jungle, Tiger bounded over the hole and peered down inside. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. There's Rabbit's hidey hole, and there is Tiger, some of Tiger. Tiger slipped one front paw down into the hole, then he slipped in the other. Next, he squeezed his head in and his shoulders and his long striped body. Finally, he pulled in his powerful back legs and he grinned. I will wait in here, Tiger chuckled. I will wait very quietly, and when Rabbit comes home, I will gobble him up. Unfortunately, Tiger had forgotten something that Rabbit saw the minute he got close to home. Tiger forgot that his tail was still sticking out of the hole, waving a warning like a black and orange striped flag. Thought Rabbit. It looks as if I have a visitor. And so he called, Hey, hidey-ho, ho, hidey-ho, are you happy, hidey-ho? Pierce is watching the story. Can you see? I don't know if you can see him. He's in here. Are you watching the story too? Tiger, who still had no idea where his tail was, looked very worried. Rabbit is talking to his hidey hole, he thought. I must keep very quiet indeed. But just then, Rabbit called again. Hey, hidey hole, ho, hidey hole, are you happy, hidey hole? Oh dear, thought Tiger. What if Rabbit suspects something is wrong? Perhaps I should answer after all. So the next time Rabbit called, Hey, hidey hole, ho, hidey hole, are you happy, hidey hole? Tiger called back. Yes, Mr. Rabbit, I am very happy indeed. And he said it in such a ridiculous, squeaky little voice that Rabbit could not keep from laughing. You silly Tiger, he called. Hidey holes don't talk. And they don't have long striped tails sticking out of them either. It looks as if I've tricked you again. Oh, no, you haven't, Tiger growled. For now I will come out and eat you. But the minute Tiger tried to back himself out of the hidey hole, he discovered that he was stuck. He scrunched and stretched and squeezed. He wrestled and wriggled and roared, but no amount of moving could get him out. Wait right there, chuckled Rabbit. I'll fetch some help. That is, if you promise never to visit my home again. I do, Tiger whined. He very much wanted to get out. So Rabbit fetched Crocodile. And Crocodile clamped his sharp teeth around Tiger's tail. And after much huffing and puffing and pulling, Tiger came out with a pop and ran off, embarrassed, into the jungle. Tiger kept his promise and never came back to Rabbit's hole. And Rabbit never again went home without asking his hidey hole if it was happy or not. Isn't that a great story? All right. Are you ready for the second one? We're going to pause just for a second. See how Tiger's doing. He's enjoying the story times too, I think. And Pierce, I don't know if you can see him. He's watching. He's watching. He's sitting here watching the whole story. It's very interesting. Are you enjoying the story time? I know. He backed right up to sit down. So that's fun. Okay, let's go for our second one. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. This is called Tiger and the Storm. One evening, just as it was turning dark, Rabbit wandered out into the jungle together with his wife and their friends, Owl and Dog. Along the way, they spotted some fallen vines, so they stopped and gathered up the vines, hoping to weave them into a length of good strong rope. Suddenly, Rabbit heard something, the swish of a tail, a long, low growl, the crush of a strong, striped paw. "Tiger's coming," he whispered to the others. "Quick, hide behind that rock, and I will deal with him." The others did as Rabbit said, and just a moment later, Tiger burst out of the bushes. "Aha!" he roared. "I have you cornered once again. There is no way you can escape this time," he said. "Oh dear," said Rabbit sadly. "You have such bad timing, Tiger. Haven't you heard? There's a great storm coming this way. A hurricane, I believe, and I was just tying myself to this tree so that I would not be blown away. If you have any sense, I suggest you do the same." "Nonsense!" Tiger roared. "This is just another one of your tricks. You've made a fool of me before, but I will not be fooled again." "All right," Rabbit sighed. "Eat me if you like. But before you finish, the storm will blow you clear across the jungle. Listen." And he said this in the direction of the rock where his friends were hiding. "You can hear the pitter-patter of rain even now." Well, Rabbit's wife was listening. So she began to thump the ground with her big back legs. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. "Oh dear," Tiger paused. "Perhaps you're right after all. But perhaps it's nothing more than a light shower. I will eat you now. I don't mind getting wet." "A light shower?" Rabbit said quickly. "Then how is it that I hear the wind blowing up now into a storm?" It was Owl's turn this time. He started to flap his big brown wings and he called, "Hoo, hoo, hoo, hoo." Oh my! Tiger was shaking now. "I believe a storm is coming after all. But I'm sure I still have time to eat you." "Perhaps," nodded Rabbit. "But then who will be left to help tie you to this tree? Listen, the wind is howling even harder now. The storm is almost here." And now Dog joined in, howling. "Oh, oh." "All right then, all right," Tiger whimpered. "Quickly, tie me to the tree, tie me tight." So Rabbit did just as Tiger asked. He wrapped the vines around Tiger's striped legs and Tiger's striped belly, and he tied him to the tree. And all the while, his friends kept up their thumping and their hooting and their howling. "There you go," announced Rabbit, once Tiger was tied tightly to the tree. "That should keep you from going anywhere for a while." "But what about you?" Tiger asked. "Oh, don't worry about me," Rabbit chuckled. "I feel very safe now. I think the storm has passed us by. Just listen." And suddenly the thumping and the hooting and the howling came to an end, and Rabbit's friends came out, chuckling from behind the rock. Can you hear Pierce chewing on his bone? He's adding to the animal noises for our story today. "You've done it again!" Tiger roared. "You've tricked me! You're in trouble now!" But when Tiger went to leap at Rabbit, he found that he could not move. Not one single inch, so tightly had Rabbit tied him to that tree. "Let me go! Let me go now!" Tiger roared. But Rabbit just grinned. "I don't think so. For if there's one thing more dangerous than a howling storm, it's an angry, howling tiger." And with that, he and his friends disappeared into the night, safe once more. And that's the end of the story. Rabbit keeps tricking Tiger, doesn't he? And that's okay, because he comes out being safe and fine. And Tiger doesn't get to eat it. I noticed something in this story I wanted to point out to you. Do you remember very recently when we were reading a story? Trying to remember the name of the story. It was the one about Small Bear preparing for winter. I think it's called A Story for Small Bear. We talked about something in that story and the what we call a certain kind of word. And we have these words in this story too. Remember when Rabbit's wife was thumping the ground with her big back legs and making it sound like pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, like a storm was coming? Pitter patter is the word that we refer to as onomatopoeia. Remember that big word? That's a word that's a fun word, and it's when you see and read a word in a story or use a word like slam or pitter patter, and you're describing the sound, and that is called onomatopoeia. So I wanted to remind you of that so you could practice that word and get really good at that word so you'll recognize it every time you hear that in a story. So, well, thank you for joining us today. This was a fun story and a good time. I always enjoy it when we read our stories and get to cuddle with our stuffed friends and enjoy our pets by the fire. So have a good week. Be careful, be safe. Remember that Papa Joe and I love you very much, and we'll see you again next time. So goodbye, but just for now.